What's up, everybody? Trinity here, and welcome back to the Second Street Marvel. In today's comic book review, I'm going to be talking about X-Men issue number 2. Now, before I get into that, please make sure you're subscribed, click the little bell, and all of that good stuff. So, guys, here we are in issue number 2 of all these series, all these titles that have been spinning out of Jonathan Hickman's reboot of X-Men in the Marvel Universe. Soft reboot, you know what I'm saying, come on. Now this book right here, X-Men, is being written, this is the one being written by Jonathan Hickman. The artist is Lionel Francis Yu, Jerry Alanguilin, I know I butchered that name, is the inker, and Sonny Go is the color artist, with VC's Clayton Cowles as the letterer. I'm going to go ahead and show you those names because I can guarantee you I messed up at least one of them. And oh, take a look at that cover again, man. Like this cover, I like this cover. This cover was actually pretty good. And God, was it? Let's see. And the cover, our cover artist was Lionel Francis Yu and Sonny Go as well. This story kind of picks up basically in the Summers house, and the Summers house is basically on the moon. And what happens is Scott is there. He got Cyclops. He got a call from he got a call from Krakoa. After all the events that have happened so far in all of these series. With Xavier being killed, and basically now we've got Krakoa is on lockdown. What happens is he got this call from Krakoa. That basically what has happened is there's this other island that has popped up about 100 miles off, like the south, 100 miles off, like the southeast side of, like Krakow or something like that. 100 miles or something off the coast. I can't remember exactly how many miles, but there. What's happened is Krakoa has been attracted to it and is now traveling towards this new island. So they have to, so it ends up being Cyclops, Prestige, and Cable that go off to investigate exactly what's going on this other island. They don't know what this other island is, or anything like that. It just sprung up out of nowhere. And so we see them traveling to Krakoa, just kind of, just the three of them having just some kind of funny banter back and forth, between the family and everything, just talking about just some different things as they're on their way, just kind of being silly. So they get there on the island and they're kind of scoping everything out as they are traveling, just like try to find out, the life forms and what's going on this island. And so they get there, and again they're having just some more just silly banter, and they come across this animal, somewhat looks like a bull or whatnot. You can see right there, kind of looks like just like a bull, but a little different. And they're sitting there kind of assessing this animal, and he's like, oh well, he's not a carnivore, so he's not going to come and eat us. And then all of a sudden, we find the carnivore actually comes up and attacks this bull-like creature and eats it. And so naturally, they're kind of like, oh crap, well, we've got to basically get through this thing to get to wherever we're trying to go to find out what's going on with these islands. And again, that's their mission, is to find out, hey, what's going on here? Try to put a stop to whatever's happening. And so they end up killing this crazy beast-looking thing. It looks like a snake kind of octopus thing, man. It's just like kind of weird. So they end up killing it, and then we flash to basically inside of this this volcano that is going on this island right here. You can see when they're arriving there. There's like this volcano that's there. It's got these tentacles coming out of it and everything. We flash to inside of it where there's this other being in there having this conversation with the island right here. And right here you can see the markings on his chest and everything. Just something that we get here in more of these pages that you guys know that I love. You know what I mean? Sitting right here, we're kind of telling about what exactly this symbol is that is on this person's chest, and basically it's a summoner is what they're called. They're called summoners, and it goes here into a description of exactly the 3 different levels of a summoner. So as they're traveling, like I said, they're trying to travel through this island and find out, get to the bottom of these things. The Summers are, and they're traveling through, just having just silly conversation with each other as they're going through, and they come across this being, this other person there that's all white with the symbol on the chest. And they're like, hey, like, what do we do? And so they go up and start talking to him, and they're like, hey, like, do you understand us? Trying to talk to him, just like in English or whatnot. And this other being is like, oh, that's weird. Like, are these people in pain? Are they okay? Like, what are they grumbling about here? So like, he starts talking to them, and they're like, oh, weird. Like, I don't know what he's saying, but it's like singing, and the dialect is something recognizable, but don't really quite know what it is. But it sounds like singing to them. And so they're sitting there, trying to communicate, and obviously getting frustrated. Cable decides to go up and give this being a gift, and this gift happens to be a thermal detonator. So this thermal detonator just explodes, and blows them up, blows them all back and everything. And this being, they're like, oh man, like, what'd you do that for? He's like, well, I just gave it to him, and the conversation here is funny. But when they're trying to make peace, Cable comes walking back, and he says, I'm a good person. I do good things, and that's why people love me. You should remember that, Rachel. And then the thing explodes, and and then he's sitting there, like, Cyclops ends up throwing that back in his face after the thing explodes, and this guy comes back all pissed off, and comes back with these creatures, these other creatures that are there, that that he's gonna make them now fight. And so they're like, oh great. So he sends these creatures after them, and they're all sitting there fighting, and then just going at it. And then somehow or other, they're in the middle of the fight. Cyclops tells Rachel, he tells her, like, well, didn't you help oh gosh, I can't remember his name now. The guy, man, he's in the New Mutant, Cypher. Didn't you help him program, like, everything, like, help him program the language, the Krakoan language, into all the mutants when they came to the island? And she's like, oh yeah. So she tries communicating to him like that in Krakoan language, and to which they finally he understands, and they go ahead and they make nice. They end up all kind of becoming friends and everything. And so yeah, and they find out, they're like, hey, so what's going on here? What's going on here with the islands? That's all we're really here for. And this being, just asking, like, hey, I mean, do you have somebody that you love? And Scott's like, well, like, I mean, what does he say? He said it's a complicated question, but for the sake of expediency, let's just say I love a single someone. And he asked him, like, hey, and you want to be with them? And he says, of course. And that's what we find here is going on with Krakoa and this other island, is they're just attracted to each other, and they've been waiting for each other, and they come together, and they become one. And again, we get just some other funny situational things going on here, guys, and just some of the funny dialogue just going on throughout this book, just some silly things. And I think that's what this X-Men series has been so far, is just kind of some silly, lighthearted things with, I believe, the same thing as in all these other issues that we've had so far, but especially this one, and God, what was the other one? New Mutants, where we're getting seeds planted for important things that are going to be happening in this whole universe here. Been very, very interesting. And then here at the end, we get this look of exactly what the new island looks like, and it's what is it? It's Krakoa and Arakoa, Coral, and you can see that right there, and it shows like the island and everything. But then what we see here at the very end, there's a couple of pages after that where we see this being, and I can't remember this being's name right after. Well, I'll get into that in a second. This being go and start to talk to Apocalypse right here, which is very interesting at first until you get to these last pages, and him and Apocalypse are sitting there having a conversation, and they're talking, and he's asking like, "What are you doing here? Like, why are you here?" And he asks him. He says, which of my children is mother to you? And the being answers, war. And and Apocalypse answers, like, oh, like I can see that now. And basically, he starts asking like, hey, will you save us? And he's basically saying, yes, of course I will. I save all of my children, those of Krakoa and Araco. And that, my friends, is something I honestly don't know enough about. I know I've had several people here commenting here on the channel with some of their comments about Krakoa and Araco and some of that stuff. And, I believe there was another book that I remember reading some of that in. I know they were making mention of that. They were making mention of that in, what was what other issue it was. The other issue just the other week with it wasn't the New Mutants. It was Excalibur. And, when they were in Otherworld, and, there was the other magicians and everything, and, like, yeah, guys, I don't know enough about it, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to pretend like I do, because I don't. All I know is everything I've been getting out of these issues has been so great, and now we've got, like, all these books coming out, guys, and it's like there's so many of them. I know I can't keep buying them. I'm just buying the first of all of these. Obviously I've got issue number 2 here, and I don't know. We'll see. But either way, I'm going to be reading these things for you guys. I'm bringing in some reviews so we can talk about these, man. I'm telling you guys, like, this has been absolutely great. And the cool thing here is, we get more of these pages. You guys know how I love all these pages here with all this stuff here, these extra pages that we don't need. Come on, man. Give us some more art. Give us some more story. We don't need all these pages like that. But then right here, we get the reading list. The order of what's getting ready to come out over the next couple weeks. And we see that next week we're getting 2 titles, and then the week after that we're getting 3 titles. So, obviously next week we're getting Excalibur and Marauders number 2, and then the week after that we're getting New Mutants, X-Force, and Fallen Angels all in the same week. You know what I mean? So, man, that's a lot. That's a lot of books in 1 week. So I can't blame, at this point, for a lot of us, it's probably going to come down to picking and choosing exactly what titles you want to keep reading. But I can tell you guys, here on the channel, I'm going to keep reviewing each and every single one of these series that are coming out of with all these X-Men books, because they've been really good, guys. And I don't know about you, I've been enjoying them. Now, this one, I've got to say, in the last issue, I had some nitpicks about Lionel Francis use just like some of the art in it. But this one, I've got to say, I thought the art was actually pretty good in this one throughout, and just like in its consistency. No real panels that, like, because like I said, in the last one, there was, in issue number 1, there was a couple of panels in there. I'm kind of like, I don't really like the art in this particular part, or the way it looks. And in this one, I thought the art looked pretty good and clean throughout this issue. Again, guys, good book. You don't want to miss this one. This one's the X-Men title, Jonathan Hickman, and I'm telling you, this one kind of feels a little bit, both of these books kind of feel like we're not getting a whole lot of meat and potatoes here, but they're just planting seeds of things to come in all of these series. Like, man, I don't know, man. Are you gonna keep doing this to us, Jonathan Hickman? Just these kind of really, like, I don't know, kind of not too serious stories with these serious things happening in them. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. I thought it was really good. But let me know down in the comments below. Have you read X-Men issue number 2? If so, what did you think about it? And what other theories do you have now after reading all of these books so far and reading issue number 2 of X-Men? Let's talk about that down in the comments below, guys. Let's have some fun and get into some great conversations. And, pretty soon I'm sure we'll be doing a live stream talking about this, maybe here over the weekend or something. That's all I have for this video today, folks. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel. If you haven't already, please make sure you're subscribed and click the little bell so you get notifications. And anytime I've uploaded new content, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you don't, give it a thumbs down. It's all good. I'm not going to take it personal, but while you're at it, make sure that you share it with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the 2nd Street Marvel. You all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your week. Go out and read this comic book, guys. Let's talk about it down below, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.